A dazed and confused Donald Trump, desperate for relevance, seeking attention, trying to yell to anyone who will listen about how he's been treated so unfairly, decided to try a friendly interview with Newsmax MAGA type Rob Schmitt. Unfortunately, it did not go well. Trump extraordinarily confused and visibly disoriented during this one, once again making up words after he gave every indication that his brain was glitching as it often does, talking about supply change. That's right, not climate change, not the supply chain, but supply change. Take a look at this. If you're watching, pay particularly close how Trump's expression is that vapid looking into the middle distance sort of thing that happens at rallies when he glitches badly. Oh, boy.
In what regard?
I think it's not going to be able to function. I think it's, look at even things like supply chains, things we never even heard about. You never heard that term. Everything worked. That's
right. The term supply change is not one that we used to hear because Trump made it up. He apparently, Trump is not the most cunning linguist out there, but apparently a slick portmanteau of supply chain and climate change. And Trump continuing to be very shaky cognitively during these interviews. He then was asked about the border bill, which we talked about earlier. And Trump is now cynically and egocentrically claiming that the entire bill, even though it's a bill that Republicans wanted, it's a bill that Republicans negotiated, it's a bill that Republicans got a lot of what they wanted on. Trump says the bill is a trap. It's so hard to believe this crap.
And you have Republicans itching to sign off on this in the Senate. I mean,
well, it's hard to believe because I think it probably would mean the end of their career. This is a Democrat trap. It's a trap for Republicans that would be so stupid, so foolish to sign a bill like this. This bill can't be signed. And it's not only that, it's massive amounts of money going out of town, as we say, going out of town, billions and billions and billions of dollars. And it's so bad on the border. I've never seen anything like it. Actually, it's one of the worst, one of the dumbest bills I've ever seen. I think it's dead, totally dead at the House. I think they have.
All right. So let me tell you what this is really about. We talked about it earlier. Trump doesn't want any problems fixed when he's not in power. That's all it is. It's not good for him. If indeed they fix. Now, this is a separate conversation from whether these are problems that need fixing. That's not the point of this segment. But Trump and some Republicans have identified supposed issues on the border. They claim everything's different under Biden than it was under Trump. We need a stat right away. We got to fix this. So if it gets fixed, or if a bill is passed and Republicans start taking credit, they start running in November, right? We get to the summer, we get to September, October, November, and Republicans are running on, hey, you know what? We got a bill done. We told Joe Biden and Democrats, here's what we need. We're going to include it in the bill. We're going to fix it. If they run on that, how can Trump simultaneously run on, well, the border is a disaster? Sir, didn't your very own Republican colleagues get a bill through to fix this issue? It's not good for Trump for that to be the case. So that's a significant portion of why Trump opposes this thing. He wants to be involved in all of it. Bottom line. Trump also, again, weighing in during this softball interview gone wrong about our elections. He says our elections are very unsafe. What does he mean by that?
And you've got you have a country that's funneled millions to the Biden family that's going to meddle in this election to your disadvantage. I mean, that won't be a big story. Not that we're surprised.
Well,
what do you do about China?
I think that will happen.
Yeah.
I think we have to swamp them. And I think right now we are. If you look at the polls, we're beating them so badly. But we have to swamp them. China will be involved. Others will be involved, too. Our elections are very unsafe. Yeah. They're not free. They're not free and fair. There's so much evidence, there's so much proof, we have it all. Nobody wants to hear about it. But if we don't have free and fair elections and strong borders, we don't have a country.
As usual, not providing any of the evidence and seemingly unwilling to give the evidence in any of those 63 lawsuits that he filed in the aftermath of the 2020 election. Our elections are only unsafe to the degree that Trump supporters make them unsafe, to the degree that MAGA Republicans try to steal elections that they lost, and to the degree that Trump tried to remain in office even after losing to Joe Biden. That's the only lack of safety I see. It's the armed MAGAs intimidating just outside the minimum perimeter at the polling places. That's what makes these elections unsafe. Okay. Trump also weighing in on his polling. And here's a little bit of a discussion on the primary. This is supposed to be an easy interview that helps Trump. It really does much the opposite.
I want to talk about you're trying to still become the nominee at this point. It seems pretty secure.
The funniest thing would be you're still trying to become the nominee at this point, which seems pretty insane. But no, it seems pretty secure, which is also true.
You turned down the RNC. They were going to just effectively anoint you as the candidate. You turned that down. You wanted to kind of fight it out the right way, so you're still dealing with Nikki Haley. What is the Nikki Haley support base in your mind? It feels to me that she's getting, I think, at least some financial support from people that will never vote for her.
From Democrats.
That want to bruise you up before you get to Joe Biden.
She's being supported by Democrats and by, I don't even say never Trumpers. There aren't that many never Trumpers anymore, but she's being
There's actually quite a few never Trumpers, more than ever, I would argue.
Supported by Democrats, and she was in New Hampshire, and she was in Iowa. So in Iowa, I had the biggest election victory in the history of, nobody's ever had a margin like I won. And in New Hampshire, I had the most votes in the history of the New Hampshire primary. That's a long time. That's many, many years, right? Many decades. She got trounced. She walks onto the stage, says, "Oh, this was a wonderful night." But it wasn't a wonderful night for her. It was a wonderful night for me. No, we're beating her very badly, and I hear we're beating her very much in South Carolina. And I tell you, Tim Scott has been better. I said, "You've been better for me than you've been for yourself." He became a dynamo. He was a little bit low-key when he ran for himself. For me, he has been incredible. I mean, he's been so...
Yeah. He even got engaged to potentially be more palatable to MAGA world as a high-up.
Strong and wonderful.
One of few you're considering for vice president?
Well,
he's on the list.
One of a lot of names. We have a lot of great names. We have a lot of great Republicans.
Now, remember, Trump said a couple weeks ago, I've already made my pick for VP. It's very interesting. Was that a lie? Because when Rob Schmidt says, are you considering him? Trump doesn't say what he said the other day on Fox News, which was, I've already decided who will be my VP. Did he change his mind? Was it a lie then? Is he obfuscating now? Who the hell knows?
But I called him. I said, you were much better for me than you were for yourself. He's done a very good job.
Let me ask you about the RNC. There's a lot of criticism. The fundraising is an issue. Hasn't been a good past couple election cycles at all. 2022 should have been far better than it was. I think we can all agree on that. Is it time for Ronna McDaniel to step aside?
Well, I think she knows that. I think she understands that. And, as far as me is concerned, as far as I'm concerned, I endorsed almost 100% of the Republicans that I...
All right. So here Trump gets into the whole thing that's going on with Ronna McDaniel. Is she in? Is she out? Whatever. These are supposed to be easy interviews. And Trump only reveals he doesn't know what's going on. His instincts are still a disaster. He's lying constantly, either lying before or lying now. And this is an easy interview. Never mind the ones where he gets confronted, which we've already discussed. Next, let's discuss what's going on with Senator James Lankford and Trump, because that's very, very interesting. Everything you do online can be tracked by your internet service provider, tech companies, the government, hackers, unless you use a VPN to encrypt your online activity, hide your IP, and make yourself anonymous. The VPN I use is Private Internet Access. They are the only VPN to prove multiple times in court they do not log your internet activity. Their stringent no-log practices are independently audited by Deloitte. Private Internet Access has a next-generation server infrastructure with IP addresses in 91 countries in all 50 states. It's one of the only VPNs fast enough for streaming video and downloading large files. Private Internet Access lets me access a bunch of Argentinian soccer that I otherwise wouldn't have access to. It's super easy to use. You turn it on once, you forget about it. You don't need to be a computer expert. Private Internet Access has a 30-day money-back guarantee, 24/7 customer support, and my audience gets Private Internet Access for 83% off. This comes out to just $203 a month, plus 4 extra months for free. Go to piavpn.com/Pacman. The link is down below.